What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great day. I just got a couple little things I need to do before I head down the road to my baby. Can't wait to see my baby. My wonderful bride, Miss Tracy. Ain't seen her for a week. And I can't wait to get back home to her. In the meantime, I'm going to get this stuff done, and I'm hitting the road, Jack, and I don't come back until the countertops are here. I want to talk about something here. I'm going to turn the fan on. So I'm sitting here, shout out to Mike Fisher in the Fish Report. You know, Mike Fisher's got that deep voice, like angry cowboy fan. You know, I wish I had that deep voice like that, man. That is an incredible voice. I wish I had a voice like that, but I don't. Anyway, Mike Fisher did an interview, shout out to the traditional media, with Jerry Jones. And on that video, he was talking to Jerry, and Jerry said some very interesting things. Some extremely interesting things. Talking about Dak Prescott and the contract and such, and paying people. Okay, so we all know that Jerry Jones, he wants you to feel sorry for him because he has, sadly, not always been able to get everything that he's wanted. I know, man, and we should all chip in and find out what it is that Jerry Jones, being a billionaire, that there's things out there that he's wanted that he couldn't afford. And he's also been out there telling us, of course, if it was about writing a check, he'd write a check. So we're hearing the same stuff that we've always heard from Jerry Jones about spending money and the situation that the Cowboys are currently in. Be that as it may. Be that as it may. He's basically pissed off, I believe, at Dak Prescott. When you are rich, you didn't get there being rich by having people punk you. You're used to winning and having your way. You go out to eat, they want to buy for you. You know what? Rich people, this is what's crazy. People with money, man, they want to give you more money. Okay? See, broke people don't nobody want to give you money. And this is one of those things that drive me crazy because whenever I need money, you can't get money. Have you noticed that? You come up with a great idea about, hey, if I could build a couple more rental houses, I can make money and stuff on them, okay? But you don't have the money to build them. And the bank says, well, you don't have enough money to build them, so we can't give you them. But then you go through and you get them built, then they want to give you money to say, hey, we'll give you a cash out refi. It's like, where were y'all when I needed the money? But be that as it may. You're used to having your way when you have money. At least that's what I'm told. I don't know that because I've never had money like that where if I wanted to go ahead and go to Salt Bay and spend $500 for dinner, I couldn't do it. Actually, let's be real here. If I could do it, I wouldn't do it. Sorry, that's just no meal. There's nothing that you can cook for me that would be worth $500. Just not. But be that as it may, that's me. I'm cheap. I would look and say, I'd spend that $500 building a rental property so that we can make some money instead of wasting it. But that's just me. But Jerry Jones seems to be dropping the gauntlet with Dak Prescott and basically saying, he's saying things like, if we pay the three of those guys, it's 70 or 80% of our salary cap. And he's literally said that he's put great teams around Dak Prescott. And I believe Jerry Jones is trying to say, I've done a great job in putting great talent around my quarterback and my team. And we failed. So Jerry Jones is pointing fingers. Now, I'm going to ask you a question here for a second, okay? I'm going to ask because, see, we do get a lot of this from people. I want to think back just a couple of years ago when we had Amari Cooper, who was a really good wide receiver. In fact, so good that he's gotten another deal, gotten more money from the team that we shipped him off to for literally a fifth-round pick, okay? For a fifth-round pick. Yeah, a fifth-round pick. That's what we ended up trading Amari Cooper for. Okay. You got rid of Amari Cooper, who was your number one wide receiver. You also let Cedric Wilson go, who was your number 3 wide receiver. You let go Connor Williams, Lyle Collins, 2 of your starting offensive linemen. You ended up letting Randy Gregory go. The following season, when you started the season with the great talent that you put around Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb was in his second year, emerging. Noah Brown, who's played better now at Houston, shout out to him, was one of your starting wide receivers. Dennis Houston was another one of your starting wide receivers who I don't believe Dennis Houston is on an NFL roster. I could be wrong, but Dennis Houston was not an NFL caliber, really, wide receiver. No disrespect to Dennis Houston. And you rushed back Michael Gallup after paying him a $13 million a year deal, who you literally got 450 yards basically 2 years in a row out of him. So where is all this talent that he talked about having on the roster? Because tight end wise, you had Dalton Schultz, who was okay. You had an emerging Jake Ferguson, who was a rookie, and Peyton Hendershot, who was also an undrafted rookie free agent and such. To Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy's credit, they took that ragtag fugitive fleet, what show's that from, and actually made them one of the better offenses in football. I don't know if it was the talent that you put out there or the coach and the quarterback and the offensive coordinator that was able to make them successful. Because, see, that's the thing that I think is lost a lot of times, because people will say a franchise quarterback makes players around them better. Okay. How do we know that people aren't better on this roster because they have Dak Prescott there? We've seen coaches go other places and not do real well. Jason Garrett. We'll see about Kellen Moore in part 2 with the Eagles. That maybe it was Dak Prescott carrying those guys. We've seen receivers like Allen Hurns, who came here, had a pretty good season. Randall Cobb, who turned his season around. Because I want you to understand here. Here's what's kind of crazy. Because people say that Dak Prescott doesn't elevate people. Randall Cobb, who had I think 1,100 yards one year, I think 2014, and like Michael Gallup, kept going downhill and started getting injured. Randall Cobb literally was down to about 400 and some yards when Green Bay decided this guy is done. He comes to the Cowboys and he ends up having 850 yards and looks like Randall Cobb of old. In fact, had his highest yards per completion with Dak Prescott, not Aaron Rodgers. Played so good that the Texans said, let's sign that guy to a $25 million a year deal. In which case he went back down to 400 some yards. So was it Randall Cobb, who was a great receiver? Or was it Dak Prescott and the system that he was in that made him a better player? See, I think when we look back at the times that we've had without Dak, now we did win the Cooper Rush, and some people say Cooper Rush is a great quarterback. but you literally averaged 9.5 points less per game with Cooper Rush than Dak Prescott. It became a ball control offense because you had Zeke and Tony Pollard both there to be able to run the football. It was just don't mess it up. And you can do that if you have a great defense and a great running game. We'll see if we have a great run-stopping defense, but I'm not sure that we have the running game to do that. But be that as it may, Jerry Jones is not happy about Dak Prescott literally having all the juice. And I think he's kind of pissed about that because that's a person who's always been used to having his way. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. Because you don't get to be as rich as Jerry Jones without having some arrogance and getting things the way you want them. So, stay tuned, people. It's going to get interesting, to say the least. You would only know my feelings. You would know how much I do believe. If you were here tonight, oh girl, by my side, 1, 2, 1 in love. Oh yeah, can't you understand it? Not the way I planned it. Hope y'all have a great day. I'm gonna get my stuff here done and hit the road. Peace.